Hi, Year One, Miss Cox here. We're into week 2 of our online English lessons. And today and all of this week, we're going to be thinking about information texts. So, what that means is we're going to be thinking about writing information about a particular topic. And this week, we've decided that we would like you to write some information about knights because we've been thinking about castles last week. So, we wanted you really focusing on knights this week. And by the end of the week, we're hoping that you would have written a lovely fact file all about knights. So, my job today is to introduce what knights are today and show you a page where you can get some information, more information about knights. And I'll send you some links to other websites where you can research knights. And then you're going to start your fact file by labeling a knight today. So that's what you're going to be doing, and maybe even writing a information sentence about a knight. So like last week, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and talking you through. And then you can pause me at different sections so that you can take in what I've said and go to any websites that I've asked you to go to. Okay, so let's share the screen. Okay, like last week, we're going to have words of the week, although our words of the week have changed. And so we're hoping that we'll be able to see some words of the week in your sentences. And this week, if we do the big reveal, under this star, we have, and under this star, we have there. Okay, so our two words of the week are have and there. Now, year one, we have actually done there before, but we thought it'd be a really good word to include into your information fact files this week. So we popped it back in there so you can practice the word there. Also, it's got that really tricky sound, hasn't it, at the end? We've learned air to have an A-I-R spelling, but actually the air sound in there is actually spelled E-R-E. So always really good to try and remember that one. That's why it's one of our tricky words, because it doesn't really look how it should sound. Okay, so the first thing we're going to think about today is, what is a knight? So I just want you to have a little chat at home. What do you think a knight is? So you can pause the video and have a little chat. What do you think a knight is? Okay, hopefully you had a lovely chat about what you think a knight is. Okay, and at the bottom of this screen, this is the link that we're going to send you to have a look at. It's got a really good page that tells you all about knights, gives you more information, and it's quite interactive. So you can press on the buttons and find out a little bit more. Now, I would share this with you, but I can't currently via Zoom. So what I've done is I've taken a screenshot so that you know that you're on the right page. Okay, so the link will take you to a page that looks like this, and all of these labels are interactive. So you can tap on it and then it'll give you a little bit more information. Now, we have done a little bit of information writing in the past, year one. So we did talk to you about drawing pictures and writing labels. We did lots of label writing in term 1 and 2. So hopefully you remember that when we're labeling something, we are drawing a line and then giving more information about what that part of a diagram or a picture is. So that's what labels do. Okay, so I will leave you to explore this particular link to tell you a little bit more about knights. And then when you've done that, when you've had a little explore, maybe even taken some notes if you want to, so you can maybe jot some things down if you want to on Post-its, or you could just talk to your grown-ups about it, and your grown-ups might write down some information that you've discovered about knights that you can use this week. That would be fantastic. So you can pause me to go and do that job now. So you can go and have a little explore of this website and some of the other links that we've given you. And then when you've done that, we're ready for the next part of the writing lesson. Okay. So hopefully you've done some really good research and you've looked around knights and you've learned some information. You've learned lots of new things. I think it's a fascinating topic. I really, really do. I really love learning about medieval mysteries. It's one of my favourite projects. So I'm really hoping that you've been really excited to learn about that. And then what we're going to do now is I've got this knight here and we're going to do some labelling together. And so it's a bit of a game really, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some time. You can pause me in a moment to have a look at some of the words underneath this knight and then have a think where you would put that word around the knight. And then we're going to come back, you're going to unpause me, and we'll see if you think the word is going to go where I put it. Okay. So if we go through the words, then we know what they are. So this first word is chainmail. So chainmail, chainmail. Or you can get your robot arms going with some of these. If I sound talk them, you can do some. You can show your grown-ups or whoever's at home with you. You can show them how we robot talk. Okay. So this word we have et, all, metal, g, or nt, all et, gauntlet. Okay, so metal gauntlet. Now I had to look up what this was, so I'd be really interested to get your ideas on what you think a metal gauntlet is, because it's one that the grown-ups definitely had to research. Okay, next one. Now this has got a bit of a naughty sound in it because it's got the in the middle. You'll find out why in a minute. So you've got sh, e, old, sh, e, old, shield. Oh, so in Mole's class, we call these naughty sounds when the sounds don't look how they should. Okay, so we've got looks like it should be an E sound, but actually it's got the spelling IE, so it's spelled slightly differently. So shield, what do we think a shield is and where is it? Okay, next, I think we've got another naughty sound here. So s, or, d, sword. Okay, and we've got a naughty sound here, haven't we? Because we don't say sword. We don't say it at all. It's a silent letter, isn't it? Okay, next, moving on. So, et, helmet. Okay, so where do we think the helmet is on our night? And last one, again, we had to look this one up ourselves, is a breast. Breast. Plate. Oh, and I've noticed in plate, it's gone up those split diagraphs that you were thinking about last week. So maybe you could tell your grown-ups what split diagraph that is. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to pause the video now, have a think about these words and where you think they would go around the night. And then in a moment, I'm going to move them to where they go and you can see if you were right. Okay, so pause me, have a little think about that, and then come back to me when you think you know where those words should go. Okay, hopefully you had a really good chat about where you think on our nights those words would go. So we're going to go through each one, okay, and a little bit more about what they are and what they do. So the first word was chainmail, chainmail. Now, chainmail is actually the suit that knights wear to protect them, and they are tiny, tiny rings of metal that are all linked together to make a suit, to make a metal suit. And they protect the knights when they go into battle. So chainmail is actually, there's lots of it all over the knight's body. It's all of this, if I just show with my pointer here, it's all of this here. This is chainmail. Around the knight's neck here is chainmail, down his other arm is chainmail, and here on his legs are chainmail. Okay, so chainmail is everywhere, but I think what I'll do is I'll just pop it there, okay, and then I can make a little line to label the chainmail. Here we go. So I'm just going to label chainmail. There we go. So that's where we pop chainmail. Right. Okay. Next. No, this is the one that we had to look up ourselves. So we had the metal gauntlet. Now, believe it or not, a metal gauntlet are almost like metal gloves, okay, and a shield that the knights wear on their hands to protect their hands. Okay, so that is what a gauntlet is. So I'm going to move that just next to this knight's hand here, okay, and the gauntlet sort of protects their hand and their arm, okay, when they go into battle. Now, I don't think this knight actually is wearing a proper metal gauntlet. It might be under the chainmail, but we can't quite see it. But if we did have a gauntlet, it would be here on his arms and hands, okay. So I'm just going to pop this label in here. There we go. So the metal gauntlet is like a protection, like a shield, little metal shield for the hands and the arm, okay? Now, next, the shield. Okay, so a shield. Now, hopefully, you all thought that the shield might be this here what the knight is holding, okay? And shields, again, offer the knights protection for their body and sometimes from their face, they can hold them up. Perhaps if there are any arrows flying around, they could hold their shield up to stop them, or if someone was attacking them with a sword, they might hold their shield up to stop them, to protect them, okay, to protect their bodies. So I'm going to pop shield there, and again, I'll get my little label here. Okay, so I can label my shield. Okay, next. Now, hopefully, I think you probably all would know where the sword is, but we can see that this knight is holding quite a long sword. Okay, and here we go. So this knight is holding a long sword here. So I'm just going to label that so you can see. Okay, and next, the helmet. Okay, this part of the armor was really important for knights, and it would protect their head. Okay, so I'm going to pop the helmet a bit here, a bit like when you're out on your bike or your scooter, you might wear a helmet to protect your head. Okay, in medieval times, knights used to wear helmets to stop them from getting, blows from a sword or maybe arrows. And they used to do something called jousting, which we'll come on to later in the week. And it was really important they wore a helmet to protect their heads and their faces. So pop the label for helmet there. Okay, and now lastly, this one is a breastplate, and this is something you can't really see. And it's a piece of armor that the knights would wear, because he's wearing something called a tunic. So this white bit here, this is what we would call a tunic. Okay, and underneath there, knights would have a special, like a bit of armor that would protect their chest. Okay, and their heart. So they would wear a really hard bit of silver armor that would go underneath this tunic and underneath the chainmail, and it would just give them a little bit more protection when they were, if they were in battle or if they were jousting. Okay, so let's just move this arrow. So I'm gonna have to get rid of that one and get another one. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So a breastplate would sit just under the tunic, and it would protect the knight's chest and then obviously his heart and his lungs and everything like that was behind inside his body. Okay, so we have now labelled a knight. Hopefully you managed to get as many of them right as possible, and if not, hopefully you've learned something new like I have, because when I was researching about knights, I had to learn some new things. So we're all growing those brains. Okay, every time we learn something, we grow our brains. So hopefully we've all grown our brains a little bit. Our brains have grown a little bit more. Okay, right. So on to today's task then. Today's task, what we would like you to do is we would like you to draw and label a knight on a piece of paper. Also, we've sent you a template of a fact file book, which you can print off and make into a little book if you would like. So what you can do is you can draw a picture of a knight in here and then have a go at labeling them. And remember, you can always come back to this video and you can pause it here so you can magpie or steal some ideas to get you started. You might find some more information on the information sites I give you. You might find other things that you want to label that I haven't today. So that's your first job, is to draw and label a knight. And then underneath on the lines, if you're using the template, you can use the lines underneath. Or if you're doing your own, that's absolutely fine. If you've drawn a picture on a piece of paper, you might get some lined paper or plain paper, whatever paper you have, and you can write a little fact about knights. Now, I have popped my orange pen here because for Awesome Orange today, we're going to try and remember from last week, from our Kung Fu punctuation, we're going to try and remember our capital letters. So he, and our full stops, ha, ha, ha. And also I've used one of the words of the week. Okay, so if I read my sentence, I've got knights have swords to protect themselves. Okay, ha, ha, ha. So we would love you to write a sentence, an information sentence that you found out about knights. If you want to write more than one, that's fine. If you just want to do the picture and then label, that's absolutely fine. If you want to do the picture and label and then just do one sentence, that's absolutely fine. It's completely up to you how you access today's lesson. Okay. If you just want to spend today researching about knights and then catch up on another day, that's fine too. Okay, so today's lesson is all about finding out about nights and having a go at writing an information sentence and drawing and labeling a picture of nights. So we can't wait to see all the information you find out about nights. I hope you have fun. I certainly did when I did some research into nights. If you do have any questions or concerns, do get in touch with your teachers. And I will go back and I can say a proper goodbye. I hope you have lots of fun, and I shall see you tomorrow where we will carry on learning a bit more about nights and completing a bit more of our fact file. Okay, take care. See you later.